everybody, welcome to my channel. In today's video I am going to be reviewing these Arteza art supplies. Arteza reached out to me and asked if there were any supplies that they carried that I would be interested in testing out and reviewing, and I did a little research before I said yes, and I was kind of apprehensive to do so because if you do a YouTube search for Arteza, you will find tons and tons of review videos. The same goes for Instagram. They have a huge following on social media, and it seems to me that they send out a lot of their products for review to a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to kind of be a part of that big mainstream, you know, everybody's doing it type of thing. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do it, but I decided to, and I will explain why, because I wanted to try out these watercolors and their brush pens, which I've got right here. And I also wanted to have an opportunity to kind of play with the new supplies and give an honest and real opinion on whether or not this very popular brand is worth all of the hype that everybody sees online. And I will be very honest with my opinion on a lot of different things, and I hope that is acceptable and okay. I think that's why a lot of people come to my channel, is because they know I'm going to give real opinions, and I will be showing the product in pretty good detail. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. The first thing we have are their watercolors. This is the 36 pan or half pan palette, and it comes in the cardboard box, and I'm having a hard time getting it out because of the way that I put it in. I put it in with these little flaps. So the palette came like this. Mine was damaged right here. It doesn't bother me one little bit. Anyone who knows me knows I don't get worked up about stuff like that. But I did have a play with all of the colors. It comes with the color guide already inside, and you can just kind of flip it up, and you can see I've played with them. I've color swatched them all, and I've just kind of had a play a little bit with them before I filmed the video. I didn't really want to just unbox it and say, here you go. I wanted to actually play with them and have an opinion. I did not use their water brush. I used my own paintbrush. I don't think there's anything wrong with their brushes. I've heard good things about their brushes, and I didn't really need to use them because, one, I couldn't be bothered to fill it up, but two, I wanted to use my own brush. So next we have their Inkonic pens, which I wanted to do a review on because they compare to me like Staedtler pens, and they come in this really lovely tin. It's a metal box, and when you open it up, you have a bunch of different colors here in 2 different trays with plenty of this to protect them. And I love these. I tried every single color, and I used them for my journaling in my journal for June, and I love them. I love the colors. There's a color guide again on the back of this tin, and I think I will actually keep them in this tin for storage. I don't have anything bad to say about these pens. I literally don't. I think the only thing I could probably say bad about them is, shoot, I don't think I could come up with one thing. They're triangular so that they're not going to roll on your desk. They fit well in the hand. The colors are really nice. The ink is very juicy. I find with a lot of the Staedtler competitor pens, they aren't as wet, and they dry up really easily. Not the case for these. Nothing bad to say about these. Let's move on to their brush pens. Now, I have got a lot to say about these. Nothing super great. So the watercolor books, the watercolor palette, and the pens came in a box here by a close distributor to me. They were sent out by Amazon, and this came from a different distributor, and it came in a little pack, like just a paper pack. There was no padding or anything to it. This came damaged and messed up. It doesn't bother me because I don't think it's going to, I'm not going to keep them in this box, but This is what they look like when you take them out. Here's the color. It comes with a water brush in there because you're supposed to be able to pull the color away from these pens and use them like watercolors. I did have a play with that, and I'm going to show you in a minute. I don't love these. I think I didn't spend enough time playing with them, but yeah, they're not my favorite, so I don't know, we'll see. Sorry if you can hear the kids in the background. They are playing outside, right outside of my window. So here is the watercolor book. Comes with 64 pages. It's very large. Here's a comparison. It's a standard size piece of printer paper, but this is my traveler's notebook. I was thinking it was going to come in like the Moleskine size, much bigger than what I was imagining. Here's what I do like about it. I love the color. I love that it's cloth. I love this elastic band around here. That's pretty much all I love about this book. The signatures in this book come with 2 pages together, but like 4, I guess, flipped pages. They've glued the first of that signature to the front of this, and it got pretty close to the edge here. You can actually feel it. And the quality is just, the quality of how it was put together was not done, to my opinion, in the best way possible. In the back, it does not feel like maybe they did that. You can see the signature here, so or the sewing of the signature, so maybe that they did, but it's not quite as clear as it is up here. So here is the swatch, and I want to make sure that I am still very well in frame. Here's the swatch for the watercolors. I love these watercolors. You can see that the color pulls away really, really easily. So I did a really dense coloring right here, and then I just kind of did this number with my brush and just kind of pulled the color out to see how, oh gosh, what is the word I'm looking for? Serious brain fart. How strong, I guess, the color is, condensed. Gosh, I cannot think of that word. Anyway, you guys all know what I'm talking about. I wanted to see how well the color pulled away and how much lighter it got, and I want to make sure still I'm in frame with these colors because they are really lovely. I did not go in order of how they are in the pans. I did them in the order I thought would be more appealing to my eye when I'm looking for something. The way they have them in the pans and then the way they have them listed here, it just doesn't feel natural to me. That feels just, you know, it just doesn't feel right. So when I did my swatch, I did them in how I thought would feel most natural to me. Something else I don't like about this notebook is that you can tell the way that the color bleeds away from these really wet spots. If I was a watercolor artist and I was using this box or this paper to really, I don't know, to really do high quality artwork in it, and the color pulled away like this as I was working, I would be really disappointed. And at first I thought it was because one side of the paper seems to be textured and the other side seems to be soft. These 2 sides don't have any texture, while these 2 sides do. I thought that was the case. But when I looked at this side right here, this side has the texture, it pulled away here as well. And if I was doing serious sketching in here or serious art in here, I would be really disappointed with that. I don't know why one side of the paper has texture and one side of it doesn't. If you're going to bind it in a book, make sure both sides have that watercolor texture to help absorb that paper. Before I go too far ahead, here is my brush pen swatch, and I was playing around with them. I did a color swatch of just how they write. They do not like watercolor paper. I'm here to tell you they are not fans of this watercolor paper. You can see I had a really hard time getting the ink to pull out of the brush nib and onto this paper. Another thing that I did is I wanted to see how well it would watercolor, and I thought it was going to have like a... what is the name of it? The Peerless Watercolors effect. I thought maybe I could just color on a piece of paper, create a swatch, and be able to use this as like a portable watercolor situation with like the Peerless watercolors are. Not the case. I mean, I guess I could. Sure, yeah, I could. But I don't know how much I like that idea having tried it and having tried to do that with this watercolor paper, because it didn't feel like it would work well for me. You can see what I've done. I've colored on the page, I pulled the color out, and while it was wet, you could not tell that the color was really there, but now that it has dried, it does look like it is pulled really well, but the colors seem to have kind of turned away from what I think they're meant to be. The ink or the dye or whatever is just pulled in a different way. So another thing I didn't love about the brush pens is that they're really sensitive. They're hard, and I'll write on some paper and show you guys what I mean, but they're really hard. This was the first time I wrote with one and I just could not figure it out. I'm really pretty good at brush lettering with brush pens, but I just had a hard time figuring out the nib of these. They're very soft, they're very wet, and they don't like watercolor paper. So I did the typical, you know, nib testing thing, and then I tried a different color to see maybe if it was just me or the pen. And yeah, so here is another example of trying to pull the brush pen situation, pull the color away. I tried it on different paper because I thought maybe the watercolor paper was absorbing it too much, and it does seem, well, you can't see it for anything now. It does seem to have pulled away a little bit better. You can see the colors are a little bit deeper, but the paper basically turned to mush with that amount of water. This is just regular tracing paper. I did also try it on Tomoe River paper, and the reason that I tried it on Tomoe River paper is I wanted to try a different paper. I wanted to see if it would pull as well, but I wanted to see if I could actually use it as like a watercolor effect. And what I mean by that is, let me just grab one. I wanted to be able to, on a notebook or a journal page, kind of do, you know, one of these numbers and be able to get it wet like this and just create, you know, like a plop, like a blob of color. And it worked well on the Tomoe River paper. You can still see where the ink originally went down on the paper here, but you can't really tell here. This color was very dark, but you can't really tell it on this lighter color paper. So I guess if that's something that you're wanting to play around with, you don't want to pull out your watercolor set to just put down blobs of watercolor. You can use these brush pens. I will probably play with them a little more to get more comfortable with them, but first impressions, not my favorite of the three items that I got. The colors are very vibrant, they're pretty, but I just need more time to play with them. So going back to the actual watercolors, I wanted to play with the watercolors and kind of actually paint with them and see how well they worked. I love them. Love them, love them, love them. I used three colors here. I used this one right here for my watermelon pink, and I just watered it down a little bit over here on my palette. You can see I just watered it down. And then I used the actual lemon yellow for my lemons, and then I used this spring green for my leaves and my limes. And then for my peaches, I used chrome orange right here, and then super duper watered it down until it was like, you can't even see it on the palette here, but I super watered that down so it wasn't quite in your face. And I love it. I love how soft these are. I loved how it worked. I like the pull of the color. Very easy to work with. A great beginner or expert set, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm not a real watercolor artist. I'm just learning. I'm just starting to play around with it. But I think this is going to be my go-to set above others. The colors aren't powdery, you know, like a lot of the smaller watercolor palettes that you can get in the big box stores. They are powdery. I don't like that powdery feel. These are not powdery. They are really, really dense. They are really concentrated, and I really like the way they feel. They feel very smooth, and when they get wet, they're really wet. Let me just show you. They're just really, really nice. I really, really like them. I'm going to be playing around with these quite a bit, and you can easily do your palette right here and just kind of water it down, move around the colors. add other colors to create new colors, but that's pretty much how I watered down the watermelon color. To get that watermelon color, I just put some on my palette and then super watered it down. I want to play more with these, but for the sake of the video, that is my opinion. Alright, so let's talk about the Inkonic pens a little bit more. I swatched them here. It was the first thing I did as soon as I got them. I swatched them out, and you can see how fine I can write with them. I love them. So let me show you what they look like on a journaling page. So here we go. Here are some of the blues and the greens, how well they work together. I really, really love these colors. I literally have nothing bad to say about them. The colors are just really, really fantastic, and yeah, I really love them. I love the more neutral colors in the palette, like the earthy tones. I don't really like the brighter colors. I'm really not going to be able to do a whole lot with those. But the earth tones, which there are a lot of, I can use, will use, and I will be happy to use them. So that is my opinion on the Arteza art supplies. I am very glad to have been able to try these. These were sent to me for free. I did not pay for them. I am glad to have tried them, and I do like these products a lot. I need more time with the brush pens. Maybe I'll learn to love them. But for right now, I feel like the packaging compared to their other items is very shoddy. I don't like how these were packaged, and I need more time with them. The colors are pretty nice, but I just need more time to play with them to base a full opinion. But I just wanted to kind of out of the box try these items out and give you my first looks opinion on them. So that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I will catch you guys later. Thanks. Bye.